Slowly kisses passing by the river.
Old Ju was obviously showing good. He wants Yang Kai to find him and borrow his saint crystals. As long as Yang Kai accepted his favor, he could say anything later. After all, he could make him a favor. This palace master also has a lot of saint crystal here. Li Wanning smiled with her pursed lips. Yang Kai's mouth twitched, and he ignored them. He couldn't tell what these people were thinking. At this time, if he borrowed their saint crystals, the favor would be great. This matter is related to Qian Tong's promotion and the key to whether he can break through to the Void King realm. How many saint crystals do you have? Yang Kai turned his head and looked at Yang Xiaoju and the others. Yang Xiaoju, Chu Hani and the others looked at each other. Each took out their own saint crystals and gave them to Yang Kai. That's it. Yang Kai swept through his spiritual mind, roughly counting, frowning. The total number of saint crystals of a few people is only about 5 million. Such a number is not small. After all, it has been able to meet everyone's cultivation needs, and when leaving the Shadowed Star, the saint crystals dispatched from the sect were basically kept by Yang Kai. And those saint crystals were already used on the Tongshuan continent, and the little elder sister used them when she refined the star source. Yang Kai didn't have many saint crystals. He couldn't help but was a little bit troubled, and quickly searched in his space ring. He found the storage belonging to Mi Tian, Shui Lian, Lai Feng, and others, and put their saint crystals together, but the total number is no more than 10 million. They are here for Blood Prison smelting trial. Who will be okay with bringing so much saint crystal in their body? If it's enough, it's fine. If it's not enough, I will lend you some. Seeing Yang Kai's expression of worry, Xu Binbai took the initiative to speak. How embarrassing it is. Yang Kai chuckled. He didn't expect that one day he would be worried about saint crystal. In the past, he spent saint crystal without counting the purpose and squandering at will. What's the matter? Saint crystals is just something outside of the body. Xu Binbai grinned. But I don't have much, only 20 million. It should be enough. Yang Kai nodded. Thanks to brother Xu first. You're welcome. Maybe one day. Xu also has something to ask brother Yang. Then at that time, please brother Yang not to refuse. Xu Binbai smiled and handed a space ring to Yang Kai. Yang Kai took it and nodded at him. Brother Xu's kindness. This Yang took it down. One day if you really need to something, just speak. I hope you and I will meet again. Xu Binbai smiled slightly. There are more than 30 million holy crystals in total. Such numbers. Quite a lot, but definitely not much. But it should be enough for Qian Tong to break through. The world's spiritual energy on this wasteland is only slightly thinner. Not really barren. Seeing that Yang Kai would rather look for Xu Binbai to borrow the saint crystal than to ask them and others, many of the Void King realm experts looked at each other and shook their heads slowly, helpless. Yang Kai knows what they think. Why don't they know what Yang Kai thinks? He didn't say much, but old Zhao just kindly reminded him, boy, if you want to send the saint crystal in, you have to go back quickly. The horror of promotion to the Void King realm is not something you can imagine. Staying inside for a long time, even you will be affected. Thank you, senior, for reminding. Yang Kai nodded lightly, took a deep breath, his figure shook slightly, and suddenly disappeared in place. In the next moment, the whole person has turned into an electric light rushing straight under the dark cloud. Everyone is paying attention to his movement straightly, their eyes are blinking. Countless large and small tornadoes swept across the ground, and Yang Kai's figure was erratic, and he went back and forth in it, approaching over there at an extremely fast speed. Qian Tong's chi potential field pervading his body became the biggest obstacle to hinder his progress. Big accomplishment. Chi potential field is almost as powerful as the domain field. Fortunately, Yang Kai has a lot of experience of breaking into the domain vortex in the blood prison. This difficulty can't stop him. Integrating his own chi potential into it, Yang Kai did not suffer. What a great resistance. The movement is fast and easy. Even Qian Tong did not cause interference. This kid really has good hand. Old Ju's eyes beamed. He actually blended his own chi potential field into the other's chi potential field, and it seems that his understanding of chi potential has far surpassed a lot of the third order void return stage. Give him some time, he can definitely be promoted to the level of Void King realm. After only a dozen interest, Xianxia has rushed to Qian Tong's side not far away. Qian Tong was sitting cross-legged on the spot. Xianxia's arrival made him open his eyes. After seeing that it was Xianxia, he closed his eyelids again, motionless, as firm as a rock. Xianxia didn't dare to delay, his spiritual mind burst out. He took out all the saint crystals he had gathered from the space ring and piled them around Qian Tong, enclosing him in the inner and outer 3 layers, almost impenetrable. Elder Qian, this is for you, maybe it can help you at the critical moment. Xianxia suddenly threw out another jade bottle and it landed firmly in front of Qian Tong. After all this, he rushed back non-stop. After a while, Xianxia returned to the original place. As soon as he stood firm, shocking energy fluctuations suddenly came from there. A white beam of light suddenly rose up into the sky, straight into the 9 heavens. With the birth of the beam of light, the 30 million saint crystals cast by Xianxia burst into dazzling light, seeming to be drawn by some internal energy. It vented out, gathered together, and poured into the dark clouds in the sky with the beam of light. The dark clouds became thicker and more solid. There is a faint hum of thunder inside, shocking people. Click. There was a thunderbolt, deafening, and a mighty power like a dragon pounced from the sky, hitting Qian Tong's body without warning, poured into his body, washing him through the marrow. It's getting started. Luo Hai let out a low voice, staring at that side deeply. Qian Tong's breakthrough has finally begun. A kind of magical domain, with the beginning of promotion, diffused, making all the cultivators in the place involuntarily showing a thoughtful color. Everyone tried their best to taste this layer of domain in order to benefit from it. This is the domain of the promotion of the Void King realm. It was also the scene of the promotion of the Void King realm. Observing it is definitely beneficial to their own growth. The first power of heaven and earth smashed down, and the whole earth trembled violently. Within a radius of thousands of miles, violent noises shuttled through the ground, dust flew up, and the air was chaotic, which made people involuntarily give birth, not like on the earth, which give them terrifying feeling. Such a mighty power make most of the void return stage look pale. They put themselves in that situation and thought about it. Feeling that with their current strength they can't resist it, after just one encounter, they will be wiped out. A breakthrough in the Void King realm. Is it so terrifying? Some people's confidence has been hit. But some people are shining brightly in their eyes, full of desire for the future and power. Those strong in the Void King realm seem to be paying attention to Qian Tong, but their minds are paying attention to the reaction of these cultivators, screening for talents. The second power of heaven and earth smashed down, followed by the third and fourth. It's like a torrential shower, with almost no rest. Qian Tong's low roar like a beast came from there, and anyone could imagine how much pressure he was under. His own chi potential field was frantically ups and downs, and the large and small tornadoes began to circulate around him, and the wonder of the chi potential was gradually sublimating and changing. As time passed slowly, Xianxia and the others showed nervousness. From Qian Tong's roar, Xianxia can infer some information. The pressure on Elder Qian seems to be getting greater and greater. Being baptized by the countless powers of heaven and earth, his aura is getting weaker and weaker and his vitality is getting dim. Qian Tong seemed to be in danger of being annihilated at any time, like a canoe traveling on the sea in the turbulent storm. The situation is not good. Old Ju looked worried. Yes, the baptism of the power of heaven and earth that this person bears seems to be much stronger than me at the time. Li Wanning also frowned. The stronger the baptism he has suffered, the more it shows that this person can achieve higher achievements in the future. The baptism power of each Void King realm is different when he is promoted. If he is overwhelmed, he would not last long, and the soul will be scattered. Luo Hai sighed lightly. From ancient times to the present, how many geniuses have fallen at the threshold of promotion? The promotion of the first few big realms of martial Dao is nothing, but since Saint King stage broke through the void return stage, the big realm can't be broken through casually. It's the same as fighting for your life. Everyone nodded and said yes. They are all people who have experienced it. How can they not know the truth? Luo Hai was right. Since the Saint King stage broke through the void return stage, the cultivators have been fighting against the sky for their lives. The breakthrough of the great realm, the only outcome of failure is death. There is no other possibility. Once the power of heaven and earth is attracted, it is either being reborn under that crazy baptism, or everyone die. Old Ju glanced at Xianxia, pondered for a long time, and then said, "Boy, you have to be mentally prepared. The current situation is not optimistic." Xianxia turned his head and glanced at him, then smiled. Elder Qian will succeed. Old Ju shook his head. "Sometimes I think it may not be possible." The old man also hopes that this person can succeed, but he did go on, apparently a little less optimistic about Qian Tong's prospects. Yang Xiaoju and others suddenly became nervous. A group of 5 of them followed Xianxia to leave the Shadowed Star and came to Green Hill Star. It coincided with the blood prison trial held once in 1,000 years. Qian Tong's blessings are profound. Now they finally have the qualification and opportunity to touch the Void King realm, and no one wants to watch him fail. If he succeeds, then Qian Tong will become the first Void King realm powerhouse in Shadowed Star for tens of thousands of years. Even though he was promoted in another cultivation star, this was enough to allow Yang Xiaoju and others to see a bright future. The power of heaven and earth continued to land, constantly bombarding Qian Tong, and the roar over there became weaker and weaker, and the vitality and aura were more like candlelight in the wind and rain, swaying with the wind. "Hey, it looks like it won't be done." The old woman surnamed Lei shook her head suddenly. A trace of regret appeared on her face. "Yes, it's a pity. He's already reached this point." Old Jude nodded in agreement. Under their perception, Qian Tong's vitality has been dimmed, and that aura has fallen to the lowest point. It is not an exaggeration to say that it is getting worse. If nothing unexpected happens, this person will undoubtedly die. To be continued.